2, and welcome back to Two Cups Cafe, where I'm your host, Alan C. Jackson, and who I have coming through for a high quality caffeinated conversation is none other than DJ Chalie Numbers. What's up, Charlie?
Hey man, what's going on? Good morning. It's
Oh
cold.
man,
I just
yeah,
came
for
from
sure.
Vegas. It's cold, man.
No doubt, 100%, man. I just want to say, man, it's an honor, man, that you come through and
Man,
chop it up with me. I mean, I've been a follower of your work for some years, man. Ever
thank you,
since
man.
we met, man, it probably had to be about almost 20 years
Almost 20
ago.
years ago, yeah.
And then just to see your progression and your
Man,
grind, man. If
thank
we
you,
could just
brother.
take it back to the beginning, man. I know you don't reside it all over the place.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
from
yeah.
a certain place, but then you wind up in this place. So let's just rewind, man. Talk a little bit.
Yeah, they call me the Globe Stroller. They call
Okay.
me the Globe Stroller for a reason, man. I've been all over. Originally from Chicago,
Okay.
South Side. Started DJing there. Of course, with house music
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
That's the easiest. Hey, if you ever start DJing, start with EDM. You
Mm.
learn the rhythms and the
Okay.
tempos better. But yeah, from there, came to Toledo, for the school thing. Of course, I was at the time following my daughter's mom because
Okay.
she was
Okay.
coming here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and plus I kind of wanted out of the shop, man.
I
I
got you.
really, I didn't think I could. Um, I left there about 18.
Okay.
I didn't think I couldn't because it was gang riddled, bro.
Yeah, you wanted to
So
get a fresh start.
you had to get out of there, bro. And a lot of the OGs, I was talented at a few different things, baseball, of
Mm.
course, music. So
Okay.
they was like, man, yeah, you should go on and get up,
Yeah,
shake
go
the
on in.
spot, yeah, get up out of here, man. So yeah, I came to Toledo, where I spent a good amount of my time here
Yeah.
right here in the TOL, man. So and then just um, from here,
Hmm.
I spent at least maybe 20,
Okay.
almost 20 years here, man.
Mm.
Dang, I didn't think it was that much, but I kind of felt I like to move around. When I was here,
Hmm.
I was working everywhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
started moving around, started tour managing and
Yeah.
DJing some of everywhere. So
So how'd you get into music, man? That's something that you always had a passion for, or who sparked your interest with that?
my pops,
Okay.
my pops for sure, my pops and my mom's. Back then you didn't turn on the TV as
Hmm.
much as you did
Right.
the hi-fi system.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You would turn on you would put a record on, put some vinyl on. My
Hmm.
mom and them would always have music playing.
I'm tell you how far I go back with that, man. I was raised by my grandparents for a number of years, and my granddad used to say, "Hey, boy, turn that TV off so we can listen to the game."
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
So it was different.
right.
Like audio was like so much
Yeah.
a part of our coming up.
And a huge part, man. And I started collecting vinyl then. I would ask for records for Christmas. I would ask for vinyl for Christmas because my mom and them had they collection their collection.
You remember what your first album was?
Yeah, Earth, Wind and Fire. It was an
Okay.
Earth, Wind and Fire album. It wasn't hip hop. But it was a sound. It
Mm.
just my very first vinyl was Earth, Wind and Fire, and my very first concert was Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh man, you got to go.
1981. I remember I'm telling my age, but I don't care.
Yeah.
1981. Um, it was Thanksgiving in Chicago. Earth, Wind and Fire changed my life. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I was gonna do
Right.
with music, but I knew I wanted to do something in music. Because my pops had instruments. He had equipment.
Mm.
The funny part is he wouldn't let us touch the equipment. we couldn't touch it.
He's just admiring it.
Yeah. He was like, hey, that's because he liked to show off, and
Yeah.
he had everything: turntables, tape decks. He had 8 tracks, and then it got to a point where I was collecting so much vinyl. He would get new record players, as
Yeah.
they was called, new turntable.
Mm-hmm.
But he would hand me the old one down.
Okay.
So I would put that together with a 8-track or
Yeah.
whatever it was, and just
Had you a
blend the
setup.
music.
Oh man.
Then it sounded crazy because now I don't know if people know this, but for DJs they know this that music that's played live,
Okay.
you can't really blend it
Mm.
like you can blend like the music that's played
The digital. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would still try to mix it though. I
Okay.
would still try to mix it, and from there, man, I really got into music. Started carrying crates for people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how you got it. In the old
Yeah.
school, it was almost like you was an apprentice.
Yeah, I was
You know what
getting
I'm
in. I was getting into clubs at early ages.
Yeah.
I was probably 16 years old, getting into Chic Rick's.
Mm.
That's that's downtown Chicago,
Wow.
and we would carry crates for people, like really popular people.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the way I got started with DJing. I asked a real prominent DJ. I'm not gonna shout him. I'm not gonna put him on. I'm not gonna put him on blast. I asked him. I said, "Man, can you teach me how to DJ?"
Yeah.
He said, "You got your own turntables?" I said, "Nah." He said, "No."
Okay.
I was like, "Oh, okay, well, all right, well, dang, it's
Right.
cut and dry."
Mm-hmm.
But he told me the reason though.
Okay.
He said that something like this, you got to practice it every day, and you ain't coming to my house to practice.
Right.
Yeah, so I started saving up. Started saving up, and at the time, I think turntables was about the techniques I wanted. The Technique 1200s that I wanted was probably almost $800 a piece. A piece. Yep. So saved up.
And that's without the
started
little
working
thing in the middle. The
without the mixer.
And all
without no mixer.
Oh.
Yeah, that's separate. Somebody actually handed me a mixer down. It was one of my favorite mixers too. And it was one of my favorite mixers because my favorite DJ, who was DJ Jazzy Jeff, had that mixer on the album cover.
Oh yeah.
It was a realistic mixer. It was a Gemini. It was a Gemini mixer. But it had wood paneling on the side, but it was dope. Because Jeff had it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Somebody gave it to me. So I just had just the mixer with no turntables for a long time, but I set it up there and I just envisioned the turntables. Saved up, started working, and you know what I mean. And finally got my turntables, man. And
so when you came to Ohio, you already was in the mix then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was doing that way before I got to Toledo.
So when you came to school, like what was your major at the time?
It was art.
Okay.
Because I draw. A lot of people don't know that about me.
I didn't know
I draw really well.
Oh wow.
But I only like drawing for a hobby though.
Like what you want to do.
I don't think I want to do it for a profession, but I'm good at it though.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was that, but I knew that, and this ain't for nobody else, but I knew that school was like, it wasn't giving me what I was getting in the streets and really on the hustle part in real time. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I got to try to make this work. You know what I mean? When I got to Toledo, fast forward, when I finally got to Toledo, I used to shop at I used to get vinyl because I was just a vinyl head. Yeah. That's why I miss Chicago so much. When I first got here, I was taking the Amtrak back to Chicago every weekend just to buy vinyl.
Just to buy vinyl.
Dr. Wax and Gramophone up north. And so I found in Sound Asylum was right there on Collinwood, but I lived right around there. Yeah. And I found that little gym. I was in. I said, oh yeah. Oh, this is great.
Go in there, get you some vinyl, some incense.
Yep. Seeing this little. I was in there. I was meeting people. You know, I was getting gigs. Just shopping for the vinyl. People be like, you DJ? Oh, I got this coming up. I'm like, yeah, cool. I was getting to it. This is another fun fact about me. I started DJing in probably 86.
Okay.
I have never, if this makes sense grammatically, I've never not made money off of DJing each year.
Yeah.
I've had a successful business since I was 15 years old. 100%. It's successful. It wasn't hundreds of thousands, accumulative, you know, it might be, but I've made money every year of my DJ existence.
Yeah.
Every year.
That's hot.
Every year. But I was in Sound Asylum, and I was this little other nerdy kid in there with me all the time.
Yeah.
Glasses. One day we was comparing what you got. We started talking, and it was one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I met one time in Sound Asylum. You know what I mean? So he invited me to his crib. He had his basement, and we just started vibing and working. You know what I'm saying? Working. A lot of people don't know this. I gave one time that name.
Oh, for real?
I gave one time his name because we would be mixing. I was good at the blends. One time was practicing the blends.
Yeah.
And I would say, man, do that again. You could only he
One time.
couldn't do it. You know, he do it one time. That's where he got the name from. So you owe me. You owe me. You owe me, bro. But that's my guy, man. But
That's amazing.
I
Man.
love the DJs here, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had any bad blood with any of them. Like, you know what I mean? All of them. From Lightning Rod, that's my guy. Keith Success.
Yeah.
J Rock, everybody, man. I like the community. Ill Sid, or Sid Deluxe.
Sid Deluxe. Yeah, I went to school with him.
You went to, Sid is my guy. And Sid is a Chicago guy too. And man, I love the city for that.
I think it was Impress.
That's another one of my guys.
He was a little older, but they went to school together too.
Montgomery.
Yep.
That's
yes,
my guy.
I'm a Mac dog.
Yeah.
They closed halfway through, so I wound up graduating from Scott.
Oh, really?
So I always say I'm a Mac dog.
A Mac dog. I was gonna say I thought it was a Mac man. I was gonna say you messing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Mac dog.
Mac dog.
I'm a Mac dog.
Hey, listen, man. But yeah, man. And you know, from there, bro, we hip hop. I'm just gonna speak on hip hop right quick. Hip hop, usually, you try everything and whatever's in that space.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was also, since I drew, I was also tagging graffiti all over Chicago.
Okay.
With my man Big Ed.
Okay.
Big Ed is one of my. He's the first one that gave me my first hip hop record, which was Run DMC self-titled album. Run DMC. Yeah. First piece of vinyl was by Big Ed. Big Ed, if you look him up, he go by Harold Matthews. He still winning ASCAP awards because he produced music.
Wow.
And he's about to get back into DJing. I'm trying to pull him back. I'm trying to pull him into that DJing phase too. But me and him he draws too, so we would tag and do graffiti all over Chicago.
You were all into the elements.
I was into it, and then I used to break dance too.
Oh,
I did it. I did. That's what I'm saying. So in hip hop,
did you rap?
Tried it. Did I rap? Yeah, see, you ask.
He said,
ask some people off the set, and I'm responsible for honing the skills of a lot of rappers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say, no, you gotta do it like this.
Yeah. My man, what we call Simon Phoenix, Pell, the producer, the director.
Yeah.
I remember meeting him, man, and he started rapping, bro.
Yeah.
And he sound like Pac.
Okay.
His delivery was like Pac, but he had bars.
Yeah, them bars.
He had some bars. I'm like, bro, if you take that little Tupac off of there and give it your own, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think back then, like, when people compare you in music, I think people wear that as a badge of honor. But when we was coming up, you know this, you can probably attest to this. You need your own style because back then, you know, in the 80s,
you don't want to be no biting MC.
You was a biter. I was just, you took the words right out of my mouth. You were a biter, bro. If you tried to sound like anybody. Like, so somebody told you back then that you sound like somebody, I gotta switch up. You took offense to that real.
Yes, sir.
So, and I think that's really important. That's a really important element today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because everybody needs that. I think it preserves the music.
100%.
When you start, because we need new people. We got a little baby, we got a dub baby. Yeah. They got two different styles. Now we need, if you gonna name yourself baby, you need to come with a different style, baby.
Right.
So,
Fat baby or something.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, man. So like I said, we man, it's Toledo, bro, for me. Like when I met you. I was looking for a home because I had a bunch of those MCs.
Yeah.
Julian Thomas, Yada Man, Misfortune, my niece, my camp, and Simon Phoenix. My camp, bro, like to me, are some of the dopest writers.
No, I feel it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I used to try to get everybody to keep going because when life starts to happen,
I already know.
When you notice when life starts to happen, bro. It could get in the way. You got to keep going. And I always tell people too, like, people used to want to be starving artists, and back in the day that was cool.
Right.
Man, keep your job.
Yeah, you don't want to be 40 and having to sleep on the couch, on the floor, just hit different. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
You're 20, you pop up, you ready to go, but hit 35, 40,
it get different, man. The energy gets different. Keep your job. But what I always tell people too, and this is what I've always done, because I work 9 to 5 jobs too. Shorter, but every job I've ever worked, I let that employer know.
Right.
Hey, this is gonna be
part-time.
second for me.
Yeah.
My first thing is DJing or producing or whatever I'm doing at the time. My first thing is music. So, and for some reason, bro, they always show me love. They respect it.
Yeah.
I worked at the Greyhound here for 13 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they would let me just go. I started tour managing for K9.
Okay.
And I needed 30 days off. We was going to, because K9, I don't know if people know. Y'all should look K9 up, bro. K9 is you know what K9 is?
I heard the name, but I'm not familiar with it.
K9 is a Somali rapper.
Okay.
He made that song Waving Flags. When I get older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look him up.
Okay.
K9 is a beast. I started tour manager for K9. I would need time off. And my boss would be like, how much time you need? I'd be like,
it's a
I
30-day tour.
It's a 30-day tour. He'd be like, go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
But I think too, like with that, I mean, I could test because I have employees and stuff like that. But when you know somebody, you always want them to do what they really want to do. Like this work, the work gonna be there. Work is work. But when you got passion and a calling and a vocation, man, that's 100%. Just something different. So I think like a lot of times, like people that in positions that respect that, they could be like, man, I want you to do. Like when you win, I'm winning.
That's
right.
What I'm saying? Because it's your era that you grew up in.
Yeah.
It's that hip hop era. You know that they don't love this. They don't love they work for you, but they don't love it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you want them to go do their passion. You want them to go do their love. So and I'm a firm believer in that. And I tell people too, man, like, listen, when you love something, because people will say, I think I want to do this. Nah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't think.
Yeah.
You can't think you want to do it. You have to do it.
I got you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do it, you got to commit. If you commit to doing it, that's the only way you're really going to be successful. Exactly. That successful at it. And that's a whole nother thing that's why I'm doing a podcast now. That's why I reached out to you, because I watched 2 Cups. And I said, damn, that's my man too.
Yeah.
Alan, I know me and you always chop it up whenever we see each other. 100%. And it's I know I can get some knowledge from you on but my podcast that I'm coming out with is called the Fat Mechanics Chop Shop. Yeah. The Chop Shop is about where I bring people in just to chop it up about what works in the entertainment field. I don't care who you smashing.
Right.
I don't care if you was at Diddy's freak parties.
Right.
I don't care about none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us what works.
Technical, just practical. Just what you're doing. This is the practice.
Tell us that part. Yeah. Because people don't, people are, it was a certain generation that was gatekeepers.
Oh, 100, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to you be trying so hard to get on and trying to find how to get on up to the next level in your niche, and then people just gatekeeping.
And it was gatekeepers everywhere. I'm talking about, I don't care what you was trying to do.
In every field.
I started off in the automotive industry just working in the factory, and they wouldn't give you'd be sitting there struggling trying to do the job, and they have a little shortcut, but they just gonna watch you because I had to learn. You gotta learn.
They've been on it for 40 years. They ain't gonna tell you nothing. You know that's.
And they say, hurry up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I love this new generation that's coming up, because this new generation, they not gatekeepers.
No,
they said, well, hey,
all the way. Yep.
I can tell you how to do this. Buy this course. And a lot of people frown on that. They were like, and I understand the frowning, because sometimes, it's gonna always be those outliers that try to scam people or whatever. But a course to me is a fast track to whatever that person is doing. If you could do your research and find out if that person is sincere and that's a good thing, a good niche for you, a course ain't such a bad idea.
But you know what? I found out that you learn even with the scams, because I took a real estate course one time about flipping houses and this and that, and it turned out that the people that put the course together was kind of disingenuous in some of the information they was giving out as far as the support they was going to give you when it was over with, but the actual information was useful. Now, could I have went and found all the information out on my own? I could have, but at the same time, like, sometimes you don't really value unless you put your money into it. Like, you got some sweat in it, some investment in it. Now it's like, now I'm really paying attention because 100%. I don't spend this, $500 for this course or $1,000. Now I'm looking at it like at school. Like, a lot of I work with, juvenile boys. A lot of them don't like school. They hate school. But if they really understood how much that education costs for them to get it. Like they not paying for it, but we paying for it. Like it's other countries where they value education so much because they know like I gotta pay for this, or if I don't
That's right.
perform to this, I'm not gonna learn anything. But here our education is just so discarded because they feel like it's just free. Like it's not free, man. It costs a lot of people.
It's
a lot of
costing
things.
somebody some money. Yeah, so you
100%.
should be grateful for what for what you have. I definitely agree with that too, man. When that's a good point you made. When you put your money behind something, it hit different.
Yeah,
you
sure.
like, hey, I'm going to try to do this because you'll take a course or maybe even look up some information and you may not try to apply that information. You'll get the information, just hold on to
Because
it.
like, I heard. But really you learned it. But I heard that if you did this, if you did that, and you can just run the whole thing down. But if you paid for it, you'd be like, I'm about to go put it into practice because now you got confidence behind, the investment that you put in it. You got value, man.
100%.
Or perceived value a lot of times.
Right. I posted something with a good as a person. I don't know if people know Wendy Day. Wendy Day is a white lady. She looks like a soccer mom.
Okay.
But a wealth of knowledge. Like if you're in the music business, look up Wendy Day. Just Google Wendy Day and see who all she's helped.
Yeah.
Everybody from Cash Money to Master P and all of them. They on paper when they get on the camera, they saying, hey, we got this deal with Universal.
Yeah.
They walked in there with Wendy Day.
Okay.
Walking into a label with her,
somebody helped broker it.
It's different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Walking in there is different. And the point I was gonna make that she made was she was talking about the record labels. So she said she like to go after if that artist that she's trying to help is wanting a record deal.
Yeah.
She try to go to the people that's offering the most money. Because if they got their money invested in the artist, it's kind of what you were saying. If they got their money invested in the artist, they gonna push it.
Yeah.
They gonna push that artist. They have to in order to get in order to get their money back, in order to recoup.
For sure.
So because the record labels are like and that's another thing my cast is about. It's about entertainment overall. It could be art, anything from art to acting to directing, but I'm a music guy, so that's another thing that we talk about and chop it up about is the music industry and why should you go to a record label or maybe not. That might not be for you. And one thing I don't do is I used to give advice and say, don't do this, you shouldn't do this. I don't do that anymore, because some things that are for some people are not for others.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people may have more drive, than others. So, and people come to me all the time and they'll ask questions about the music industry or the music business, which is two different things too. And that's another thing we touch on. So
tell me this, how'd you transition from being quote unquote solo, like I'm DJ, like I'm the business, to expanding your umbrella and kind of bringing other people in?
Reading, man. I love to read.
Okay.
So, and it's even easier now. So I might do 6 books a week now because I can listen to them. The same thing.
See, my daughter, she told me like them books don't count. That yes, them books do count.
They do count. They do count because you remember things. You know what I mean? The music business, the way I describe it, I'm gonna answer your question in a minute. But the way I describe the music business is a fast moving train, a freight train.
Okay.
You always trying to catch on. You always trying to, how people, in the movies you see people trying to run behind that train and catch on there. You get on there and you might fall off. That's how the music business is. The music business is it's constantly moving. It's constantly moving. So I used to read a lot. Yeah. And everybody be like, well, how did you know that? I read books on the music business and also went to like the BREs. That was the Black Radio exclusive back, and I used to go to the conferences, talk to people like Russell Simmons and them back then. So I transitioned because I knew a lot about the business and I wanted to start my own label. Okay. I was watching the Russells and the Eazy-E and them when they had Ruthless and things like that. And I was like, I was seeing that they was trying to cut out the middleman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So, and I knew talent because I've been listening to records.
You can tell somebody got something.
I can tell when they got something. You know what I mean? And I'm brutally honest. And that's the thing, you know, you can be labeled a hater when you brutally honest, though. You know, even in our genre, they're like, oh, he just a hater.
Yeah, man, this is hot.
No, listen, that's another thing. If you got that guy in the studio that think everything that you do is hot,
something wrong.
kick him out the studio. He's out of here. Get him out of there. Because those are the people that's supposed to tell you.
Right.
You would rather hear it from them.
Yeah, you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
Do it again.
That's it. Because that's another thing. That's the rule that we got. So me and Phoenix, and then we'll be creating and making, you know what I mean, and making music. And then say they like it,
yeah,
but we don't like it.
Yeah.
The rule is, if you don't like it, tell them why and tell them how to do it better. That's constructive criticism.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the constructive criticism. And I noticed about myself, I'm a person that I always look at myself first.
Okay.
If something is wrong in the business or anything is wrong, I'm going to look at me first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I look at myself first. I take full responsibility for whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I noticed what I used to do was, it's not good. And that's all I would say.
Okay.
It ain't good. Do it over. Like you said, just do it over.
Yeah.
But it's better if you say, you know what, that don't sound right. Do the try it like this, or and then you got other ears. You know Tubby, right?
Yeah.
So Tub used to always tell me, Numbas, bro, when you producing them vocals, you need more than just you and that singer in that control room to listen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You need a couple different ears.
Yeah.
Tub used to say you need a few ears. You don't just have just a few people in there, because I could be hearing something, but what I could be hearing is not all of that either. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I learned just by doing, man.
Like that, man.
I learned by doing. I think a lot of people discredit themselves because they wanna get everything perfect. You know what I mean? And I think that comes from watching social media.
Yeah.
Everything is edited.
Right. Yep.
You seeing all the good stuff.
All the highlights.
Yeah, you seeing all the great stuff. If you're seeing all the great stuff, you don't see the bad stuff.
Right.
That's why you know what I used to love? I used to love to watch the bloopers at the end of the movies.
Okay, yep.
Shows how many times people really messed that up.
Right.
That's what you need to see. There's mess ups. But I think especially in this space that you're in, the space that we're trying to get into now is podcasting. So and I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, I gotta have this.
Right,
I want my stuff to look like this. Your stuff looks great. It's not gonna be that.
Yeah. Just start, man.
Just start. Just start, bro. Just start. That's your practice. You practicing and doing it at the same time.
Exactly, 100%.
So
100%.
yeah.
I think your premise, like the reason why you're doing it too, is like you already got why you're doing it. So your premise is like when you're helping somebody in the music business because you want to teach them, you want to help them. It wasn't about being famous. It wasn't about being rich.
Never.
Even with the podcast, you said you want to give jewels and bring in people that's going to give you practical steps on how to go from A to B. And you apply them, you're going to have to get some kind of result. You're going to have to tweak it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what this podcast I want to do, because it's called One for the Wake, One for the Work, 2 Cups. So the first cup is always about what's waking you up in the morning, what's inspiring you. Because if you're not inspired, if you don't have no hope, you're not looking towards anything, then your work is going to be affected. I think when we came up, a lot of times, hip hop saved a lot of our generation because when you came up in the Industrial Revolution, it was all about the work.
That's right.
You didn't care about your dreams, your visions, what you like to do, because it was all about punching the clock, getting benefits, getting retirement in 30 years.
Yep.
Your goal number was 30 years. Do this mundane thing for 30 years and
never love it.
Yeah, you never love it. It don't love you either.
It definitely don't love you.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of it, you get to sit on a bank and fish, and reminisce.
God bless our parents, man.
Yes, sir. So I started off in that track because I was one of those guys, man. I graduated high school. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a passion. I just was like, I was just happy I was done with it. So a lot of my friends were going to the military. A lot of them was going to college, but I was like, I really didn't want to. I only like learning about stuff I want to learn about. That's right. What, some people say that's stubborn, but it helps you have a focus on when you do find something. So what happened with me was I was get a traditional answer. I'm gonna go in January. I'm gonna go in January. When you don't go to school right away, it's like, well, you know what, I'm gonna go to January. I'm gonna take a semester off. You know what I'm saying? I think, man, back then it was quarters for some schools.
Right,
I go January. I'm gonna go winter. So, but I wind up getting a job at a factory. But even in that job, man, I found myself, man, I was always been an entrepreneur, from the streets. And even, when I started my job, man, I used to sell breakfast burritos at the job, burnt CDs. I'm talking about I used to refurbish computers.
One of those
guys.
What
I'm saying? I'm talking about used cars. People ask me about.
I love it, bro.
I always was trying to do something because once you entered in them gates, man, it was like everything was only about this. But I had to have more. You got to have something. So getting back to the wake, you had to have something to wake you up, to inspire you. You can't put the work before the wake, man. So I tell people, take time, wake up. Like I tell my young men I work with, don't just roll out the bed and
do it on purpose.
Go to school. Don't just roll out the bed and don't take no time to prepare yourself for the day. Think about what you're thinking about. My boy Dr. Sweeney always talk about that. It's called metacognition. Take some time and think about what it is that you're thinking about. Where you going that day? Like how do you want it to be? It's not so much for me manifesting, it's so much for me just rethink about like how I want to be. Like I want to be in a good mood today. I want to, my steps to be ordered today. I want to, what I'm saying? I want to help somebody today. And I think when things go left or, like frustrations come in or, things don't go the way that I want them to go, it's like I always can know what's pushing me so I don't just be like, forget it, I quit. I just go buy a semi truck and just hit the road. You know what I'm saying?
And that's right. And it's on purpose. I tell people to get out the bed on purpose.
Yes, sir.
Don't do it just on a whim. Get out the bed with a purpose and do it on purpose. You know what I mean? Because and I think that people's when it comes to rap, I think it's a easy thing. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's an easy thing for us to get into because it's telling a story most of the time. It's storytelling. You know what I mean? And if you good with the words, if you good with the word play, you may have something. So that's something
presence about you.
That's right. Like here, bro. Like so, Julian. I was managing Julian, and Julian would do a show here, and we'd be somewhere like the Rocket Bar or somewhere like that, right? And it'd be more rappers in the audience than it is fans. So I said, you got to get out of here, bro. Like they all rap and they good. Like it's some good rappers here in Toledo. I mean, they exceptional. Like when God rest his soul, when my man Eddie Bauer used to do the mud. What was it called? What was Eddie Bauer's thing called? Where you have all the rappers rap. Where you have like 30, like a bunch of rappers rapping. I forgot what he called it. Something out of the mud or something like that. When he used to do that, man, I was shocked at how many.
He was like, "Whoa,
they got some heat." You know what I mean? So I was telling Julian, man, maybe you need to get on out of here. So Yada got up out of here not on purpose. He had to go because he was getting in trouble. Okay. So Yada man wound up going to Omaha, Nebraska, and then after Omaha to Rapid City, his wife at the time, she was in the military. Okay. So they moved around. Yeah. And he hated it, but he got out of here, and I said,
"That's blaze a little trail for himself, though.
That's not such a bad thing,
for sure.
Because wherever you go, and I'm just going back to what I was saying about how it's kind of easy to get into that to the rap thing because you just got to rub elbows with people. Yeah. Wherever there's people, if they like music, they like the hip hop, music, you can kind of build a fan base for yourself. That's another thing that I've been telling people. Not, you'll see it a lot now online, but I've been telling people for years, get you a set of fans for build your fan base. Yeah. You get 1,000 fans to give you $100 a year. That's $100,000.
Yeah, for sure.
And they'll be like, well, how do you do that? Well, you got merch. Yeah. You do shows. Now you can do lives. Yep. You can do
Patreons.
You can get $100, and if you fall short, if you get 500 fans, right. You know what I'm saying? If you get 500 fans to give you $100, that's money. Yeah. That's a living.
It's a living for sure. 100%.
It's a living. So you gotta. you know, we got to get out of that. You know, back in the '90s,
Mm-hmm.
when you could sell CDs,
Right.
oh, they was making a killing. They
Yeah.
was killing it, especially when they started making mixtapes and bootlegging their
Right.
own music and selling it. They was making, they was making
Physical. What they
it
call
ain't
it?
li-
Physical.
physical, hand to hand.
Yeah.
It's not like that no more. So now with this streaming revolution,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta come up with something else.
Yeah, merch is, man, that's where it's at. Yeah.
People buy a T-shirt way before they buy a CD. That's what I used to tell Yada.
Yeah.
They buy a T-shirt way before they buy a CD.
So you out in Vegas now, right?
I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, living in Vegas, and I love it, man. I was out there doing some things like DJing out there, a lot.
Okay.
So, and then me and my wife would take trips out there with our friends, and we love the palm trees.
Yeah.
We hated leaving the palm trees. We even tried to buy palm trees
Yeah,
and
set
set them
them
at the
up
house.
here.
They just didn't. They
Don't
just didn't
feel
do
right.
good. They didn't do good in the Midwest. So, but we love the palm trees, and now, man, I get to wake up every day and see the mountains and the palm trees. And I grew up in the city where I'm
Yeah.
looking at project buildings.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
100%,
saying? So
yeah.
it's different, man. So yeah, I'm in Vegas, man. I love it. I love it out west, man.
Yeah, I gotta come visit you out there. I
Yeah,
want to
heck yeah.
want to go to one of those they do a lot of the clothing and fabric wholesalers
Yes.
and stuff out there.
Come out,
Check it
bro.
out.
Come
Yeah.
out, man. Y'all can stay with us. Come
Yeah, that'd be
come on
dope,
out, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's we get to see more of our friends now.
Yeah, okay.
Now everybody looking
Stopping
like,
on
hey,
through, yeah.
no, I was thinking we might be coming to Vegas. Come on, bro.
For
I get
sure.
to see them more, so I love it, man. That's
sure,
another
yeah.
that's another good thing
Yeah.
too. You know, everybody visiting
Destination
out.
spot,
It's a
yeah.
destination spot,
Yeah,
man.
that's awesome, man.
Best date city in the world. You and your wife, bro. Y'all have a ball there.
Oh,
it's
man.
always something to do.
Yeah.
When we were going 10, 15 years ago, they didn't have as many restaurants now.
Okay.
Bro, like now, we have trouble finding something to eat because it's too many. Like I
Like what you
swear,
want to do? Yeah.
we live in an area called Rhodes Ranch. And Rhodes Ranch, bro, if you hit Warm Springs or Sunset at one of those, it'll be one plaza where every restaurant you want new ones. If you like to eat, and we vegan, we vegetarian, so
Okay.
all type of vegetarian
Yeah.
restaurants springing up over there, man.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, bro, like y'all will love it, man. Come on out, man.
For sure, man. We can do that too.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, man. For our last few minutes together, man, I just want you to just talk about like what you got coming up. I know you talked about the podcast, man, and how you want to vision that, but just man, you want to elaborate on that, man?
Yes, I definitely do, man. Because, and this is important because I was just telling my man Pell about this, Phoenix. I'm getting back. We had a label. I think early 2000 or before we had a pop artist named Amanda Mills. She did good. We charted Billboard and we did some things, but I want to get back into that space. So
Yeah.
we'll probably be starting a label soon.
Okay.
I'll be starting a label soon. I'm trying to get the branding and stuff right. I got some people, I won't say who yet, trying to throw money at it.
Yeah.
But I don't just want the money. You know what I'm saying?
got you.
It got to be
Gotta be
the
your right feel. Yeah.
it's got to be a partnership now. You know, because that's, I was telling my partner, like, we got to go in it. I never like going to labels and asking questions.
Okay.
I want them to ask us, like, how can we help or how can we be a part? I just want to go in there and make statements. Hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, y'all want to throw money at it?
Right.
You know, so, and I'm also getting into film now. We're working on a web series.
Yeah.
And I'm moving more towards from managing artists to, because they don't need my help no more, man. They just think they do.
Right,
you know, they're
right,
calling like, Unc, y'all be like, Unc, man, what you think about this? And I'm like, you don't really want mine. He's like, I do. But so I'm moving more towards like in the DJing space, more towards the production, more like a DJ Khaled.
Okay.
Like I'll be getting
You pulling people together.
artists putting things together, making songs, but it'd be under my DJ
imprint,
Chalie
yeah.
Numbas, and I'm putting it out.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
it's gonna do two things. It's because from a creative standpoint, that's what I've been doing for years.
Okay.
Putting people together. Hey, you should work with this person. Hey, you know him or you know her? Boom. My girl Tila Fields. Vatila Fields and if y'all don't know who Vatila Fields is in this city, the girl is she just gets music.
Okay.
She'll take your songs
Yeah.
and she's probably one of the dopest composers
Wow.
that I ever met. Like she can compose a song and hear the harmonies and all that.
Just put it together.
Right. And me and her and Phoenix, we all been writing, and Yada Man, we all been writing and stuff together for years. And we've been coming up with dope stuff. So I'm putting some stuff together, man. I'll be releasing some music, some new music, and starting a label and going into the movie field. I'm all over the place.
I like that though, man.
Like I always have been. I always have been. And I'm here, man. If y'all got questions, I'm still like the reason I wanted to do the podcast is because I have a lot of email.
Okay.
A lot of text. Hey, what should I do here? What should I do there? So I'm just gonna get on the mic
topic and just
boom,
give it to you.
Yeah. Somebody, if I see somebody's email and they asking me a certain question, I'm gonna make it into a topic, and we're gonna talk about it, chop it up. And I'm also in a crew called the Nerve DJs, and also the Elite DJs. But the Nerve DJs, we have conference calls like every other Tuesday.
Okay.
It may be Trina. We talk to like artists. Busta Rhymes brought a single the other day, not too long ago, and we push the music. We help push the music. They come and tell us what they're trying to do.
Okay.
And I'll be interviewing some of those people too. I'll be bringing some vets to interview them too. So,
like that.
But yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. And
thank you.
Anything, man. You know, I'm an open book, man. Anything
I
you need
love
from me,
what you're
man.
doing here, man. And so that means that I did this, so you got to do my show.
Oh, man,
I got to interview. We're going to turn it, we're going to switch chairs. I got to turn it around, man. But thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. 2 cups.
Yes, sir. 2 cups.
And make sure it's 2 cups next time. We need. I need me a cup too, man. He just got his own cup over there just sipping.
I'm stingy.
Selfish.
No, I'll make sure, man. We get it, man. Cracking, man.
Bro,
But
love, man.
Yeah,
always.
Man. And look forward to doing your podcast, man.
I
and
appreciate
seeing all the great work you do, man. And I'm gonna definitely promote it, man.
Thank you, man.
Anytime I get a chance, man.
Same. We got to work together, man.
Yeah,
I tell people all the time, just closing, man. If you know people that's doing stuff and y'all doing pretty much the same thing, it's all relative.
Yeah.
You know, why should we get on 2 different planes to go to the same destination?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
That,
so help each other, man. Get together. It's no hate, man. It's just got to be love, bro. Just help each other.
Be love, man.
For sure.
Definitely, man. I definitely feel the love and the support, man.
Man, absolutely, bro.
So
all the time. You know how it is with us, bro. You know.
For sure.
It's always love, bro.
Yeah, man. But once again, man, thanks for coming out,
My pleasure.
man. And like I said, we're gonna be looking forward to all the great things Chalie Numbas do, man. He's man of integrity, man. Man stand by his word, and I'm just excited. But until next time, man, just get into the comments, subscribe, like, share, because we're gonna be having high quality caffeinated conversations where you don't have to be the biggest, most famous person on the net, but what you do have to do is whatever God's put inside you, just share it with the people. Till next time, 2 cups.